known as the ghetto of Nigeria. But things are changing in Ajegunle.
Ajegunle is Nigeria's most popular and populous ghetto. About 3 million people make this small neighborhood home. And with this comes the huge challenge of survival in this mostly impoverished community. People outside Ajegunle would easily describe it as a notorious hood. And while the name Ajegunle evokes thoughts of poverty and deprivation, ironically, the name actually means in Yoruba language, the threshold of wealth.
It's pretty tough growing up in Ajegunle because nobody gives you a chance to survive. But I always tell people that once you survive in Ajegunle, then you survive in any part of the world.
According to people who live here, life in the ghetto may be sweet and sour all at once, but rather surprisingly, they consider it to be very safe.
When they talk about Ajegunle, you only hear about gangsterism. It doesn't exist. Ajegunle is one of the safest places to live. I mean, I've lived in Ajegunle for years. I've never had many cases of armed robbery. You know, it's very, very safe. Nobody across you on the road. You don't have area boys, you know, I mean, you've been here, so you know what I'm talking about. Nobody harasses you in Ajegunle. It's a very, very free place. So when you read something else in the newspaper, you begin to wonder where they got the story. And most of these people that talk about Ajegunle have never been to Ajegunle.
In spite of the social vices that one would usually associate with urban ghettos, there is actually a strong sense of harmony and resilience that binds this community together.
It's either you're playing soccer or you're trying to sing. You know, it's a very funky place where everybody is just doing their own thing. It's very, very free world. I call it Nigeria, you know, because you have every tribe represented in Nigeria.
Over the years, many social groups and organizations have attempted a social rehabilitation of the community.
Somebody has to do the job. But Ajegunle is a place where when you hear the name, usually what comes to mind is don't go there.
One of such initiatives is the Ajegunle.org project, designed to help change the mindset of young people in the community and help them channel their creativity towards more positive endeavors.
If you empower these young people within this group, they become, in quotes, an elite group of young people that inspire positive peer pressure. There's a lot of peer pressure for young people around, but if it's positive, it also can become a fad.
The Ajegunle.org project intends to build on the growing positive force of music success that entertainment icons like Daddy Shoki, African China, Marvelous Benji, and the likes have established through music. But this time around, through ICT and human capital development.
It's built on the principle of relay training, and relay training in the sense that, you know, you train one person, the person trains other people, and it's such that it forms a pyramid. One person trains 5 people, and if you train, what we do is we select 25 people. So the 25, each of them is expected to train 5 people within 2 months. And the 2 parts of the training is, one is on ICTs, on new technologies, and the other is on entrepreneurship. And the focus is to see how, as young people, they can take advantage of new technologies to actually stop the usual cycle of, you know, cramming, passing, and forgetting what you learned in school, and then looking for a job to actually create value for themselves. And since the majority of people we're, you know, working with are people who are either in transition or already in school, they can take advantage of this to create value for themselves.
Can anything good come out of the ghetto?
I've had the opportunity of, you know, doing international stuff where people practically expect nothing from me because I'm Nigerian. And the moment I open my mouth and I get a job done, they come and say, oh wow, you know, and all that. And that means that where there's darkness, even little light can shine. And that's one of the things we're looking at. They say that it's a place where people don't expect too much, but we'll see what we can do. And whatever we do, when it becomes a success, we can replicate in other places. And it's beginning to work already.
The standard of living is so low in these parts that the people who call this place home have continued to accuse the government of neglect and segregation.
Let them do something about the ghetto masses. We are living pain, man.
Government should just try and do something for us.
Actually, we're having, you know, one of the people who is, you know, going to help with the entrepreneurship training actually grew up in Ajegunle. And that makes a statement to say that your background does not determine how far you will go in life. Otherwise, I should just shut up and imagine that life has ended. The Korean internet volunteers are students themselves, students of vet medicine, of political science, of real estate, and only one of them is actually studying computer engineering, and they are students. So the message is clear to the people who are training that, hey, that as far as you can see, as far as you can plan, as far as you can get passionate about and get desperate about, That's how you can go.
The Ajikle.org stuff is teaching them entrepreneurship. Now, not because I was doing sexual whatever because I needed money. Now, since I've stopped doing it, I have to earn my money in the right way. So now I have something, the entrepreneurial skill that can help me to earn money. So now that helps me to be myself first. Now able to begin to be me and not care what people say. I begin to pursue my dream to the lens. So that is the bit of it. So I'm not idle. Because when you're idle, of course, within time you go back. Because by the time you're frustrated and all that. But now I have things to do and you're being respected.
Paradoxically, Ajegunle has produced more stars than any single neighborhood in Nigeria.
Azu Ishekwene, Azu rose to become the editor of the Punch newspaper. He grew up in Ajegunle. Zebejiro, Okpa Williams, Basket Mount, Samuel Oposon. I mean, his church is just down the road. The church he used to, so you have a whole lot of people who have been out of Ajegunle and they're doing quite well. Daddy Shoki, a lot of showbiz people, So what are we talking about?
Which leaves one in awe of this peculiar neighborhood.
People out there should just give us more respect and should realize that the ghetto children are blessed and gifted children.